3 of this video. We have already shared part 1 and part 2. So if you haven't watched it, you can first go and start by watching it so that at least you'll understand this sequence that we are sharing, where Allan is sharing his experience of starting a law firm during a pandemic. So this is in part 3, he's going to share the lessons he has learned. It's more of the lessons that he has learned during the way, so that in the hope of helping anyone who is thinking of starting maybe their own law firm. So Allan, when you took that big leap, what are the lessons that you have learned? What can you share the lessons that you have learned?
It's been 7 months now?
Yeah.
7-8 months, and obviously there are a number of things that I know now that I didn't know then.
Oh, but first, you should also share the part that you have already moved. Now you have moved, you have your own space, right?
Yes. The part I probably never said is that now I am no longer in using the space that my host gave me. I got my own lease, I got my own place. Now I have advertised.
Yeah, but then you shared that information, I was like, wow, that was just so encouraging. But there, because me, I started before you, but just before Corona. But I remember sometimes things get tough, especially because of the pandemic. But by then I think about you, then it encourages me, because I'm like, if Allan started from zero, like during a pandemic, I keep going.
Yeah, I should be a mentor.
No, but I'm sure also me and someone influenced you with starting. Maybe you're like, true. If Ruth could start, and you know me, we were in school together and all that. But anyway, basically what you're trying to say, this thing, it's just a matter of making that decision.
Yeah.
Right? So like, share your lessons. Because the pandemic is still on, and maybe there's someone who has been thinking.
No, the lessons are still the lessons. They are still, pandemic or not, they're just
but
the same.
So you feel like it's still the same, like nothing.
I feel like most
like the pandemic should not be a big excuse to why you're not taking that big leap.
Whereas I acknowledge that the pandemic has changed, they altered the dynamics a little bit.
That's very true.
However, by and large, the way someone would start the business of a law firm, and the challenges, by and large, they still remain. And in my view, what should be emphasized is, if you want to build a successful law firm, I think that those elements still remain. For example, I would say you must work on structures within your law firm, in the sense that for easy flow of work, you must have those structures right from the word go, because you see, when you're starting, there's not so much work, you don't have many files.
Yeah, you don't have a lot. Also, like what you're saying, you should focus mostly on that. The structures.
When you're starting, you must ensure that you put the structures in place.
By structures,
what I mean is,
mostly you are alone. Maybe you haven't gotten the money to hire.
You may be alone, but you still need structures.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, structures are not about the number of employees. It's just about the organization.
Or your own personal organization.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and also time, because remember, it's not like employment where you're supposed to be at work at 8.
Yes.
This one, it's you yourself to take that initiative of pushing yourself.
Yes, you need to put in place structures right from the word go, when there are not many files. By structures, this includes your right from filing system to how you label your files.
Yeah, like basically, don't assume because you've just started, you're not taking it seriously. Like maybe you're not even labeling your files.
Yes.
By then, labeling files is very important, because your reference. Most people, you have to reference your for like organization that you have said. Now I get you by the, because also me, I know that weakness where when you're starting, maybe you only have like 5 files.
Yes.
So you think, there's no need of having a structure.
Yeah. You take some of these things for granted, and then before you know it,
it has already
and then it messes up some things, or you end up messing up somewhere when you could have just fixed it if you had
from the beginning.
Exactly. Some structures. So why wait for the disaster to happen when you can fix it at source? So there are also very important things that I came to learn, like very practical. When a client comes, don't do anything for them unless you have seen commitment.
Yeah, but that's something I wanted to also ask you. How do you handle payments? Because this is a new area for you. You are from
Yes.
employment, where for you
Yes.
just get a file. You don't know how much. Even sometimes maybe you don't know how much the client paid. But
Yes.
now it's you making those decisions.
This I learned the hard way.
Oh, because at first maybe I understand that part. At first you feel I don't want this client to go.
Exactly.
I don't want this client to feel
Yes.
I'm overcharging him
Yes.
or her.
It's just the fear. You don't want
So
to
you fear to even talk about your fees first.
you don't want to lose them. Maybe it's that fear of
it's
losing
normally
them.
losing them because you're just starting out.
Exactly.
You need them,
So,
but you also don't want to lose them.
So you must make it a habit, just from the word go, that unless you have seen some form of commitment from a client, especially if this is a new client.
Yeah, because you don't know.
Don't bother starting on the work.
Yeah, doing the research and everything, and someone hasn't shown commitment.
I learned this the hard way. I was once instructed by a client who used to see me on my way home, and then so they approached me. They told me they had an issue. They needed an injunction quickly. So what I did, we never even discussed. You didn't talk about the fees,
so you started the work,
quickly.
The injunction and everything.
I did research that night. I don't even remember if I slept well. I was thinking. I did my research. I started working on the papers. Then everything was ready now. Now I go back, and then now they're not willing to
pay.
Commit
and
themselves.
For you, that's what you're saying. First, let them commit.
Exactly.
Ask for of course, don't ask. Just tell them this is the entire fees.
Yes.
Then ask them to pay a deposit.
Yes. So discuss at least the fees first.
Yeah, that should be the first thing.
You must be on the same page first, and then after discussing the fees, let them commit themselves.
Yeah,
let
before
them give you a deposit.
Before you do anything.
Before you touch anything. So that's one of the very first practical lessons I learned. And then secondly, I just these values are important. These old school values, hard work.
Oh yeah.
These things, I believe that if you want to run a successful organization, law firm included, that these values must be there from the word go.
Yeah, like give it your all. Exactly. It doesn't matter if it's a small client.
Give it everything.
Like just from the beginning,
work hard. Try and be at the office every day. Don't procrastinate.
Yeah, by that, especially when starting out, procrastination can be the most. Because remember, you are working at your own time. Sometimes you wake up, you don't feel like going to work. So if you don't have the values he's talking about, trust me, you'll find yourself like the entire week you're not going to work. And remember, people are watching. You've just started, you've set up your law firm. People will be noticing these things. So people will see you maybe as a non-serious lawyer. So at least the way you're saying. And also you get referrals from clients. So if you do your good work, I'm sure also that's why you've gotten more and more clients.
Yes, within no time you become very busy.
Yeah, you get, because you get one client, this client is like this person has, because clients will know whether you're committing or not.
Yeah. And then one thing I probably forgot to say last time, try as much as possible not to burn your bridges.
Oh yeah.
However acrimonious your exit might be from your previous place of employment,
but that's very important.
Try as much as possible not to burn your bridges. Not so long ago, my former employer just decided to give me some work. Yeah,
and it was because of you didn't burn that bridge.
Exactly.
Yeah. By then you're saying, despite the fact maybe the relationship wasn't that good.
Yes.
You have to acknowledge also the fact that these are your senior advocates.
Yes.
So they already have that connection, and you might need them.
Yeah. Look at the prize. Yeah. Your eyes should be on the prize. Look at the future, not the past.
Yeah, focus on the future, because now you have started a new journey.
Yes.
You will need all the help that you might need.
Correct. Like, look at the bigger picture. Don't focus on the...
Yeah, but for you it could have been normal, because now it's like he let you go. Because now that options they had given you, it was basically just telling you to go.
Yeah.
Because you didn't have any option, but you didn't burn that bridge. You made sure you kept that, and now as you have said, he has given you work.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then learn to manage your finances. This is important.
Like finances.
Yes, you need to pay tax.
Yeah.
You know that you need to. There are so many expenses at the office.
And you don't, and you're just starting out, so you don't know the future.
Exactly.
Like you're not sure. So at least when your money is coming in, I think that's what you're meaning. Like save as much as you can.
Try and save.
Yeah.
Try and save as much as you can. Don't spend on, cut your spending. Yeah, and then because you realize you are paying much more than you used to pay probably when you're employed. There's rent there.
You are an employer.
No,
You're doing
yes,
things that you are not
exactly.
doing as an employee.
And then also, you have to work more, because right now you have to cut your expenses. That means don't employ when you. This is work you can do for yourself.
When starting out, by there, because when you don't have much work, there's no need. Because you are an advocate, but there are some things you can just or outsource. There's also outsourcing. You can outsource, like,
look for creative ways of saving money.
So
it's important that
finances, but they don't mix personal and business.
These are some of the practical lessons.
Me too. That was the biggest mistake.
Yes, there are lessons you may read in books, or that may be told to you by someone who started a law firm in the 80s or 90s. But these are some of the practical lessons that I'm telling you from first-hand experience.
So sometimes you might find like a good client who pays well.
Yes.
So if you have no structures in place or plan, you might find just yourself using that money wrongly. Then you find yourself also in trouble. You haven't paid maybe your taxes.
Yeah, something else.
Or maybe your employees. If you have you outsource maybe clerks
So something else. There will always be that temptation to undercut, especially when you are starting, because there are people out here who know how to take advantage. They come, they look at you in the face, they see the way
you're
you sound,
young, and you're not that confident.
Exactly, the way you even your office, they look at it, they can tell that you haven't you haven't made as much money as the other lawyers, so they come at you. Yes, they come at you with offers that
a very low
amount to which, if you take, you will be undercutting. See, the money will be. You will see, this is just stamping. This is just doing the most basic of things for money, and then this will help me pay bills upper, bills pale. However, what you may not see is that you will probably be getting a client who will never pay you your worth, who will always look at you as someone who just accepts whatever
you're given,
grains you throw at them.
And for you are thinking you're being nice.
Exactly, which may not be long term. Thinking long term, it may not really
work on your favor.
Exactly.
And the same client will refer others with the same amount.
Exactly. Now what they will do is they will go and refer people, and then when people come, they will say they
you charge this amount.
That transaction, and they'll tell you how you did this. Someone told me, and then it will be very difficult for you to run away from.
And sadly, the same person can go to another law firm and will pay more.
Exactly.
Way more.
Yeah, you'd rather let them go, but let them go knowing that they need to go and look for money and come. Let them go with that understanding or impression that you are not you're not
willing to lower your price just for, like, you're not in a don't show like as though you're very desperate for the services. But then there was a senior advocate who was saying, never be known as that cheap lawyer.
Yeah. The problem,
the news will spread. Now for you, you're based in Ruru, it's a small town.
Yeah.
So it will just spread. You'll be known as that, and the problem will be known as the cheap lawyer. Yeah.
Not only the colleagues as well.
You'll be known as that cheap lawyer, and cheap lawyer comes as like you don't know your work. Like people will think like you're not good at your work.
Yes.
Of course, it will go hand in hand.
It has a direct effect on the
perception about your profession,
competence, and those kind of things. So I'd say try as much as possible to resist the temptation to undercut.
Even though it is very high because you're just starting out, you need that money.
But try as much as possible. I remember there was a time someone just once walked when I hadn't moved into the new office. Someone walked in with some papers, almost 10 papers, and then they wanted their documents certified. So they asked me, how much do you charge? I was like, I charge 500 shillings
per document.
Yes, per document. And then they were like,
it's too expensive.
Yeah, here we usually certify using 50 bob.
Jesus.
Then,
50 bob for certification.
Imagine. Then I just told him point blank, I'd rather do it for you for free. but I won't do it for you for free because you want to dictate to me how much I should charge. So
people can take advantage.
And it was very offensive.
Yeah. Because also me, I've come across a client, she's 54 years old and she wanted me to do an employment matter for her, and she was using the excuse of she's an orphan.
So you do it for free?
I do it for free because she's an orphan. At 54 years old. And I was just like, people can just, and if you allow it, trust me, they'll just, because they know what they are doing. They have already seen you're a young advocate and they feel that you're going to accept.
Yeah.
So basically, make sure you get paid the value of your work.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter that you're just
resist
starting out.
the temptation to undercut.
Yeah, because you'll still put in the same effort.
Then something else, if you're getting into a partnership, ensure that try to have a partnership deed.
Oh, but I wanted to ask you, because partnership is not like me. I went for sole proprietorship, so at least I don't have those difficulties of dealing with a partner. So I wanted to ask you, what can you advise someone who is thinking of doing a partnership?
I would say for a partnership, it all depends on agreement. It's never easy. Many people have compared it to marriage, and it's true. It's an open secret that it's a poorly kept secret that marriages are hard work and they are complicated sometimes. Therefore,
you should go in with, there you said, for you and the person who you know very well.
Exactly. It's important that when you get into a partnership, get into it with someone who you know, whose values you know. Most people fall out when the money starts coming, however little. Therefore,
start showing their true colors.
Exactly. It helps if you have an agreement from the word go. Yeah. If the money comes, this is how we'll share it. At what point, if you haven't joined the partnership yet, what benefits will you derive from the partnership?
And also some situation where the partners maybe like the roles are different. Let's say, for example, we are partners, and for me, I'm still in employment part-time, and for you, maybe you're like now you're done running the farm. What advice could you give for that?
I'd say put it in writing.
Oh yeah, there you have said, but they have a partnership deal.
Have a partnership
and let
deal.
it be capture everything.
Yes.
So that at least you protect. It doesn't matter whether you are going with your brother or your sister, but that partnership deal is very important.
Even if you have problems that might arise in future, let them be very minimal, and let any potential areas of conflict be covered in a written agreement, so that it will be easy to just go back to the partnership deal and just what you agreed. Go
in case of any dispute, at least you have and also in the partnership deal you also have a way of, if there's a dispute, how you're going to
solve it. How you solve it.
Yeah, so it's going to be better. Because most people, what I know, even people can inbox you telling you like they want to start, but right now they have zero. They just lost their job and they didn't have savings. So luckily you had savings.
I had some savings. Yeah.
So like, what could be what advice could you give to such a person?
As I already stated before, it's always good when you approach things, you approach them with a plan. It's always
like
good.
Have a plan.
However, I acknowledge that sometimes it may
like now times are tough right now.
Exactly. It may be difficult to have a plan. Some things just happen.
Like you can't be sometimes you're accounted that you don't have like money to start.
Yeah, exactly. And I would say there are no hard and fast rules.
Yeah.
There are no hard and fast rules. If you can go out even without some savings, there are people who have started without any savings and they've still been just fine.
Yeah. That one maybe you can start with sole proprietorship.
Admittedly, I'd even admit to you right now that even if I had only money for desk, for just a few furniture in the office,
necessities,
plus food for that first month, I would still have made it today.
Oh yeah. Because now, anyway, it's more of taking that leap and just trusting the process. There's no practical way,
I'd say
advice that.
That advice for savings comes from probably a cowardly perspective, or because it's born out of fear, the fear that
of the unknown.
Exactly, that things might not turn out well, but who are we without fear? We're just mortal human beings.
Yeah, by the way, we don't know whether we'll be there tomorrow.
Exactly.
Like also even our life in itself, it has its own fears. Like we just hope that we'll still be there because you don't know what will happen.
Yeah.
Just the day Corona just came, no one expected it. But it's just more of just if you've made that decision, it has to be anyway. I also another thing I just realized, it has to be personal decision. No one can like sit you down and tell you I prefer like just go and start your own
decide and
it has
figure out ways how to
don't do it at because like you've seen people have started, or your friend has started a law firm, you're like, let me go and also start. It has to be a personal
people
decision.
who know me very personally know that I'm not the most extroverted person. However, when you know that you have a law firm, you will maximize every opportunity you have of interacting with people and
by there you also I remember I'm more of an introvert, but you'll just get confidence naturally. It will come.
You just find yourself being the one
confidence
talking to
is the only thing that will keep you. When a client comes, you have to give that client confidence.
Exactly. I'm a matatu driver. When a client comes, you just need to talk and you just need to,
because you want that client to come back.
Yeah, you need to promise them that
they can trust you.
The effort may bear fruit. It's likely that it will bear fruit, even though you don't know.
You're not sure, but this because you're working on probabilities.
There's a business side of things which you begin understanding when you go out on your own.
Yeah.
And then there's the technical side where you need to understand the law, know where the law is. But you must be conscious of the business side of things, because sometimes it is the dividing line between people who have succeeded in
solo practice
and those who haven't. Not all lawyers who are successful in legal practice are actually good lawyers.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Yes.
But then there are people, they are just good business people,
yes.
but on the law side, no.
Yes.
So for you, might be a good lawyer, but on the business side, you're
not all lawyers who have failed in business are bad lawyers.
Yeah.
Some are good lawyers, but bad business people.
Yeah. But then, so you have to know both, understand the both sides. You have to understand
it. Yeah, you have to develop some qualities. As human beings, the way we were made by God is such that we can learn almost everything.
It's more of learning, by the way. Learn from your mistakes and not be hard on yourself.
You must open yourself.
When starting out, you'll make mistakes. I think it's very normal to make mistakes the first month.
You'll adapt.
Yeah, but just learn from it.
Discipline is very important.
Oh yeah, baby.
One of discipline is very important. Try as much as possible to be in the office on time. Try as much as possible to do your client letters. Try as much as possible to, if you usually save a certain percentage of what you make, or if you usually, if you're supposed to, save all the money you've made, try and save all the money you've made and pay yourself a salary.
Yeah, but then separate the business from the personal as much as you can.
Business from the personal. Because
when starting out, those things are just mixed up.
And then another lesson, you must know that the first few years of practicing, most of what you make goes back to the firm.
Yeah.
Because you will not have many things, like you may not even have enough furniture in your office, you may not have enough chairs, you will need to partition your office at some point. Therefore, most of what you make, you may not see a change in your daily life
much while starting the first year maybe.
Out. I am of the firm conviction that you start enjoying fruits of legal practice 3 years into
like enjoy properly,
exactly.
Like living
because then you will have put in place most of the structures, and
maybe your firm then can run without you.
Most of your investments now you will start getting good returns. We need to take advantage of the fact that employment matters right now. Employment matters. The filing fees is very low, and also the technical nature of employment law is such that most employers don't really understand it. They haven't understood it yet. I know of examples where I have made cases out of situations or circumstances where employees didn't think they had a case at all. Yeah.
So you have to also be like, the lesson is you have to think outside the box.
You have to, stop thinking like an employee.
Oh, but that's the major thing. Also, that's the mistake I made the first month. Like, you go to self-employment with the mentality of an employee.
Yes, stop thinking
That's
like
the
an employee.
biggest. You should know that you're not an employee anymore.
Yes,
You're
so we
an
go back to the
Yeah.
business side and the
Yeah, you know this is basically a business. You're an entrepreneur now when you start your own law firm.
exactly.
Yeah, because you have to separate. Like, you have bills. Both you are paying rent for your
Yeah,
house and
yeah.
rent for your. So you have bills both ends. Yeah.
So you need to be mindful of all these things. Yeah. So when you're starting out, you must know that there's a business side of the law.
Yeah.
There's a business side of things, and you must teach yourself how to be a good business person. Read as much as you can, interact with people as much as you can. Basically, get out of yourself.
Yeah.
If you want to succeed in legal practice, because you need to be known.
Yeah.
And then
you can't be in your comfort zone.
Yeah. And then
you can't
important, very important. Make sure you are quality shines too, because sometimes the distinguishing, it's what clients use to distinguish one lawyer from the next. Yeah. And also it determines the quality of brief that you may get.
Because of course you're planning to
know.
upgrade.
Exactly. Clients know.
Yeah.
Clients know this lawyer has the capacity to do this brief. Yeah. This one has the
That's
capacity.
That's why you find maybe the same client might be bringing you some certain briefs and taking to another lawyer.
Exactly.
So make sure be that lawyer who he can trust, he or she can trust for all the briefs. You can handle their briefs.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think we have summed up
the lessons.
Yeah. So I hope you have learned from this Allan's experience of start. Now you can see if he started a law firm during a pandemic, you can just see it's possible also for you if you are willing to take that route. So I hope these lessons have been helpful. Yeah. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for sharing your experience in my channel. I appreciate.
If you have any questions,
you can leave them on the comment section. I also share his social media handles here on the comment section. On the description box. I'll put them there so you can check them out. Thank you so much.
Feel free.
Bye.
Bye.